There's a rare kind of strength found in those who work silently, those who don't announce their plans, those who don't need validation, applause, or recognition to move forward. These people understand a fundamental truth. Noise doesn't create results, action does. The moment you learn to stop talking and start doing, your life begins to transform. Silence becomes your greatest advantage because it forces you to focus inward instead of outward. You stop wasting time worrying about who's watching and start dedicating every ounce of energy to the process of becoming better. The reason most people fail to achieve their dreams is not because they lack ability. It's because they spend too much time talking about their dreams instead of pursuing them. They announce every step, seek approval for every move, and crave recognition before they've even done the work. But when you work hard in silence, you do the opposite. You protect your goals from unnecessary attention. You move in stealth, not because you fear judgment, but because you understand that growth needs privacy. Like a seed growing beneath the soil, your progress must happen unseen before it blooms for the world to see. Silence gives you clarity. When you remove the noise of others' opinions, your mind becomes sharper. You stop comparing yourself to those around you. You no longer measure your worth based on likes, views, or praise. Instead, you measure it through discipline, progress, and consistency. You learn that every quiet hour you spend improving yourself is a deposit into your future. You might not see the results today, but they're building quietly beneath the surface. Every late night, every early morning, every sacrifice is shaping you into someone unstoppable. There's something deeply powerful about not telling anyone what you're doing. Creates a quiet fire inside you. It builds hunger. It gives you something personal, something sacred. You start to enjoy the process more because you're not performing for anyone. You're simply evolving. You begin to fall in love with improvement itself. Every task becomes meaningful. Every challenge becomes a test of strength. And every small win feels personal because it's yours alone. Working in silence also eliminates pressure. When you stop announcing your plans, you remove the expectation to perform for others. You move freely. You fail quietly. Learn quietly and grow quiet. That's where true strength is built. Success is not a performance. It's a private transformation. The most successful people are not the ones who shout the loudest. They're the ones who act the most. They let their work speak louder than their words ever could. When you're focused on the grind, you don't have time to talk. You don't have time to explain. You simply do. The irony is that those who work silently often make the loudest impact later. Their achievements create the noise they never had to make themselves. Working hard in silence also teaches humility. It reminds you that progress is not about attention. It's about growth. When you achieve something quietly, it feels pure. There's no ego attached to it, no external validation driving it. You did it because you wanted to, not because you needed others to notice. And that kind of success lasts longer because it's built on authenticity. The truth is, silence tests your character. It exposes your habits, your patience, and your perseverance. It reveals whether you're committed for real or only motivated by praise. When you strip away the audience, are you still willing to work as hard? When no one is watching, are you still giving your best? That's where true greatness is born. In the unseen hours, in the lonely moments, in the quiet commitment to something bigger than yourself, you must learn to embrace those silent seasons, the times when no one believes in you, no one notices your effort, and no one applauds your progress. Because those seasons are where your foundation is built. Every master, every champion, every icon went through a period of being unknown. They weren't posting about it, they were practicing. They weren't talking about success, they were earning it. You must do the same. Build yourself in private so that when it's time to reveal your work, it's undeniable. When you truly understand the power of silent progress, you stop needing recognition. You start enjoying the solitude of hard work. You begin to value effort over attention, mastery over fame, consistency over hype. You realize that the most powerful thing you can do is to quietly outwork everyone else. The louder someone talks about their goals, the less they usually do. The quieter someone becomes, the more dangerous they are becoming. Let your silence be your strategy. Let your results be your voice. Stop explaining yourself. Stop trying to prove your worth. The people who doubt you today will witness your success tomorrow. And when they do, your results will speak a language louder than any words ever could. You don't need to tell the world what you're doing. Just keep moving. Keep improving. Keep improving. When the time comes, your work will introduce you better than you ever could. Talk is cheap. Anyone can say they're going to succeed. Anyone can post motivational quotes and announce big plans, but only a few actually execute. Working hard in silence separates street dreamers from doors. It forces you to walk your talk, to prove through consistent effort what words can't. The world doesn't need more people talking about what they will become. It needs more people quietly becoming it. You must understand that your results are your reputation. Your discipline is your character. Your work ethic is your voice. People can argue with your opinions, but they can't argue with your results. When you let your results speak for you, you gain credibility without saying a word. You earn respect through what you deliver, not what you promise. The strongest proof of who you are and what you stand for comes not from what you tell people, but from what you show them. Every time you choose to stay quiet and keep working, you build power. You're telling yourself that you don't need validation, that your vision is strong enough to stand on its own. You become a builder of results rather than an announcer of dreams. You start to operate differently. Calm, focused, precise. You stop needing motivation from others because your own progress becomes your fuel. Each completed task, each improvement, each milestone whispers back to you. Keep going. There's a moment that comes to everyone who works in silence. A moment when the results finally become visible and the world takes notice. People start to ask, where did you come from? They think you appeared overnight, but they didn't see the years of invisible effort. They didn't see the quiet grind, the lonely nights, the unseen sacrifices. What they call sudden success is really the echo of years of silent work. That's why silence is not weakness. It's preparation. It's the calm before the storm of your success. When you work quietly, you're not hiding, you're sharpening. You're refining your skills, your mindset, your strategy. You're aligning your actions with your ambitions. You're preparing yourself for the moment when your results will speak so loudly that you won't have to. In the end, results are louder than any speech, stronger than any excuse, and more powerful than any claim. Let your success become the noise you never had to make. Work quietly, build consistently, and rise unapologetically. The ones who talk less often win more, because they've spent their time building what others are still talking about. Every day you have a choice to announce your goals or to chase them. Choose the chase. Let the world stay curious. Keep your head down, your heart strong, and your focus locked in. When your results finally appear, they'll make the noise you never needed to. That's the true power of working hard in silence. The world eventually can't ignore what you built, no matter how quietly you built it. When you decide to work hard in silence, you begin to understand that true success isn't about how many people notice your effort. It's about how deeply you stay committed when no one is paying attention. The greatest achievers in history were not driven by attention. They were driven by discipline. They weren't chasing applause, they were chasing progress. Discipline is what makes you get up when you're tired, keep going when it's hard, and show up when no one else is willing to. It's the quiet force that separates those who talk about goals from those who achieve them. When you focus on discipline rather than attention, you free yourself from the trap of needing to be seen. You no longer need others to validate your worth or approve of your direction. You stop posting every small move or seeking recognition for every bit of effort. Instead, you become consumed by the process, the daily repetition of effort, the consistent execution of your plan, the silent mastery of your craft. Attention is temporary. It comes and goes. But discipline builds permanence. It builds habits, character, and identity. It molds you into someone who performs at a high level regardless of who's watching. The problem with attention is that it feeds the ego, not the dream. When you crave attention, you start working for show. You make choices to impress people rather than to improve yourself. You begin performing for validation instead of progress. You lose focus on the mission because as your energy is being spent trying to be seen instead of trying to be great. But when discipline becomes your focus, you start to move differently. You work quietly, you sacrifice willingly, and you commit relentlessly. You begin to crave the feeling of progress more than the sound of applause. Discipline is not loud. It doesn't boast. It doesn't seek sympathy, and it doesn't ask for recognition. It's built in the moments when you'd rather quit, but you don't. It's built when you wake up early to work while the world is sleeping. It's built when you stay consistent even when motivation disappears. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline stays. Motivation might start the engine, but discipline drives the car through storms, through silence, and through solitude. When you focus on discipline, you also learn patience. You stop expecting immediate results because you understand that mastery takes time. You begin to love the process. The long hours, the repetition, the discomfort, because you know every bit of it is shaping you into something greater. Attention can give you temporary pleasure, but discipline gives you permanent growth. You learn that doing what's necessary, even when it's boring or invisible, is what creates lasting transformation. The truth is, attention fades fast. People will forget what you said. They'll forget what you posted, but they will never forget what you built. When you're disciplined, you're not chasing moments. You're building momentum. You move forward inch by inch, silently, with a focus that doesn't break. You train your mind to stay locked on the goal, even when distractions scream for your attention. Discipline teaches you that you don't need to be noticed to make progress. You just need to keep showing up. Working hard in silence also builds mental toughness. If you stop being emotionally dependent on external validation, you stop caring who praises you and who doesn't. You no longer need encouragement from others to keep going. Your satisfaction comes from doing the work itself, not from being applauded for doing it. This shift changes everything. You become unstoppable because your drive is internal, not external. While others are chasing followers, you're chasing excellence. While they're trying to look successful, you're becoming successful. And one day, when the results begin to show, they'll wonder how you did it. They'll assume you got lucky, but you'll know the truth. You were simply disciplined when they were distracted. You worked in silence while they were busy seeking attention. When you work this kind of discipline, your energy becomes sacred. And that's where the next key principle comes in. Protecting that energy through silence. Energy is your most valuable resource. It's what fuels your focus, your creativity, your determination. But most people waste it. They waste it by talking too much, sharing too much, and explaining too much. Every time you talk about your plans to the wrong people, you drain energy that could have been used to make those plans real. Silence isn't just about staying quiet. It's about preserving your power. When you work quietly, you stop leaking your potential. You keep your goals private, not because you're secretive, but because you're protective. The more people know about your vision, the more opinions they have about it. And most of those opinions won't help you. They'll only create doubt and confusion. The truth is, not everyone wants to see you succeed. Some people will pretend to support you while secretly hoping you fail. That's why silence is shield. It keeps your dreams safe from judgment, jealousy, and interference. Silence gives you freedom. It allows you to make mistakes without an audience. It lets you evolve without pressure. When no one knows what you're building, you can focus entirely on building it right. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just work. You keep your head down, your vision clear, and your energy pure. You stop wasting time trying to convince people that you're capable, and you start using that time to become capable. Every word you speak requires energy. Every time you defend your dream or explain your plan, you're spending emotional fuel. If you're not careful, you'll run out of energy before you even start executing. That's why those who work in silence move faster. They conserve energy. They don't get caught in unnecessary conversations, arguments, or debates. They simply do the work. And when the results arrive, those results end the discussion without a single word. You must single word spoken. You must learn to protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. There will always be people who try to drain you with negativity, criticism, or envy. If you share your vision too early, you give them the opportunity to weaken it. But when you move silently, they can't touch you. They can't interfere with what they don't know. You become untouchable, not because you're loud and defensive, but because you're silent and strategic. Silence also helps you stay mentally grounded. When you talk too much about your goals, your brain releases the same satisfaction as if you've already achieved them. You get a false sense of accomplishment, and your drive weakens. That's why it's better to keep your plans private until you've executed them. Let the satisfaction come from progress, not from conversation. The more quietly you move, the hungrier you stay. Working in silence also brings peace. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're too focused on your own lane. You stop worrying about who's ahead or behind because your energy is centered on growth, not competition. You learn to enjoy your solitude, to see silence not as loneliness, but as life. Focus. You realize that every quiet moment spent working is a moment you're moving closer to your goals. People often fear silence because it feels empty. But silence isn't emptiness, it's space. It's the space where ideas grow, where discipline strengthens, and where transformation begins. It's where you develop your identity without influence. It's where you recharge your energy and align your purpose. The more you embrace it, the more unstoppable you become. When you protect your energy through silence, you create an invisible force around you, a focus that's unshakable, a calm that's rare. People will start to feel your presence without you saying a word. They'll sense your strength, your purpose, your confidence, even in your silence. That's the power of someone who has mastered their energy. In the end, working hard in silence is not about hiding. It's about focusing. It's about refusing to waste your power on noise. It's about keeping your discipline sharp and your energy pure. It's about understanding that your growth doesn't need an audience. It needs commitment. And when you finally reach results, the results you've been working toward, the world will see it. They'll see the discipline, the patience, and the silent strength that carried you there. You won't need to explain anything. Your success will speak with a voice louder than words ever could. Working hard in silence requires an ingredient that most people struggle with: patience. Patience is the quiet force that transforms effort into excellence. It's what keeps you moving when progress feels invisible, when results seem delayed, and when success feels far away. Most people start strong, but give up too soon. They plant seeds of effort, but walk away before those seeds have time to grow. Patience is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's the calm understanding that growth takes time, that mastery is built one step, one failure, one improvement at a time. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, patience becomes your superpower. Everyone wants quick results, fast money, fast success, fast recognition. But anything that comes fast often fades faster. Real success, lasting success, requires time to build. When you work hard in silence, you allow your process to unfold naturally. You stop rushing and you start perfecting. You realize that every day of effort adds a layer of strength to your foundation. You might not see it, but it's there. Each repetition, each lesson, each setback is building you quietly from within. Patience doesn't mean waiting passively. It means working persistently. It means doing your best every day, even when it feels like nothing is changing. It's understanding that every great creation, every meaningful achievement, every strong character was developed over time. Look at nature. Trees don't grow overnight. They take years to develop roots deep enough to withstand storms. Your journey is no different. The time it takes is what makes it strong. The silence is what makes it sacred. When you embrace patience, you stop comparing your timeline to others. You stop feeling pressured by other people's progress because you know your journey is unique. You realize that success is not a race. It's a personal evolution. Every moment of struggle, every season of silence, every delay is shaping you into the person capable of handling the success you're working for. If you received it too early, you wouldn't be ready for it. That's why patience is not punishment. It's preparation. Every time you choose patience over frustration, you build resilience. You strengthen your mind and sharpen your focus. You begin to see challenges differently, not as obstacles, but as opportunities to learn to adapt, to grow. When others quit because the results aren't immediate, you keep going because you understand that persistence creates power. Every day of consistent effort, no matter how small, compounds over time. You may not notice the growth day by day, but one day you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Working in silence with patience teaches you self-trust. You start to believe in your process even when there's no visible proof that it's working. You stop needing external confirmation and learn to rely on your internal conviction. That's the essence of greatness. Believing when no one else does, staying calm when others panic, and staying committed when results are invisible. Patience turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. When you stop rushing and start trusting, your work becomes more meaningful. You pay attention to detail. You refine your skills. You master your craft. Patience gives you time to make mistakes and learn from them without fear. It allows you to grow steadily, not hastily. Every failure becomes a lesson, every delay becomes a blessing, and every step becomes progress. You start to understand that true success is not built in the spotlight in the shadows. Quietly, gradually, and deliberately. The most powerful thing about patience is that it builds depth. It gives you the kind of strength that lasts. When you rush, you build surface level success, impressive to the eye but fragile underneath. But when you're patient, you build roots deep enough to sustain storms. You build habits that endure, skills that compound, and confidence that doesn't fade when challenges arise. Silence gives your growth the space it needs, and patience gives it the time it deserves. There will be moments when you feel stuck, when you wonder if your hard work is even worth it. But remember, everything valuable takes time. Diamonds form under pressure. Gold is refined through fire. Success is shaped through patience. Keep showing up, even when the results don't show up yet. Keep working, even when no one notices. Keep believing, even when no one encourages you. The quiet persistence you show today will become the loud success that everyone will see tomorrow. And one day, when your moment comes, when your results finally shine, all that patience will make sense. The waiting, the working, the wondering. All of it will have prepared you for the weight of what's coming. Because success without patience is temporary, but success earned through patience is permanent. When you've worked hard in silence long enough, there comes a moment when silence turns into sound. Not because you decide to speak, but because your results begin to speak for you. When that time comes, your success will make the noise you never had to. The people who doubted you will start to notice. The same ones who ignored your grind will now be inspired by it. But you won't need to brag or explain. You won't need to prove anything. Your work will be your proof. When you shine, let it be unstoppable. Let it be the kind of success that doesn't need defending. Let it speak through the results you've created, through the person you've become, through the life you've built. The beauty of working in silence, that when your breakthrough comes, it's undeniable. People won't be able to ignore it because it's real. You won't have to shout to be seen. Your results will do that for you. The world loves noise, but it respects results. Anyone can make promises, but very few can deliver outcomes. When you've spent years working quietly, perfecting your craft, developing your discipline, your results become undeniable evidence of your effort. They're unshakable because they're built on real sacrifice, real focus, and real work. You don't need to chase recognition anymore. It comes naturally. Your success will become a reflection of all the quiet nights you've stayed consistent, all the silent mornings you worked when no one was watching, and all the sacrifices you made without anyone's applause. Those moments were your training ground. Every silent season you endured built the strength that now carries you. That's why your shine will be unstoppable. Because it's backed by authenticity. When you reach this point, your silence becomes your story. People will look at you and see the calmness, the confidence, the focus, and they'll wonder how you built it. They won't realize that it was forged through years of patience and persistence. Your presence will speak louder than any explanation ever could. You'll inspire others not with words, but with example. The most powerful people are not the ones who talk about success. They embody it. They don't have to announce their greatness. It radiates naturally. When you've worked hard in silence, your energy changes. You move with certainty, not arrogance. If you carry humility, not insecurity, you understand that success doesn't make you louder. It makes you wiser, calmer, and more focused. And when you finally shine, you'll realize something profound. The silence was worth it. Every moment you spent working quietly was building this moment. Every sacrifice you made in the dark was preparing you for this light. You won't need to look for validation anymore because your results will validate everything. You'll see that the people who doubted you were never your obstacle. They were your motivation. The pain you endured was never punishment. It was part of your preparation. Working in silence also teaches you gratitude. When you finally achieve your goals, you'll appreciate the journey so much more because you remember every step, every fall, every lesson. You'll value the growth, not just the glory. You'll respect the process, not just the prize. And you'll carry that wisdom into everything you do next. When your results finally speak, they won't whisper, they'll roar. But the roar won't be made of arrogance. It'll be made of authenticity. It'll be the sound of all the silent work finally paying off. It'll be the sound of a disciplined mind, a patient heart, and a focused spirit coming together in victory. You won't have to tell your story. The world will tell it for you. That's the beauty of working hard in silence and being patient enough to see it through. The noise of the world can be loud, but silence has its own power. It builds strength, character, and confidence. When your time comes, you won't need to force your success. It will naturally shine, and nothing will be able to stop it. The world will see the result, but only you will know the sacrifices behind it. And in that moment, you'll understand why it was always better to work hard in silence. Because when you finally shine, your success speaks louder than any words ever could.